Hello, VS. So today we have got Dr. Tina Mukherjee from INSTEM. She has been a part of Delhi University and then moved to All India Institute of Medical Science, then went to Max Planck Institute and also did a stint of PDF in UCLA and now a faculty at INSTEM Bangalore. So welcome, Dr. Tina Mukherjee. And
Thank you so much.
I will request you to share about your academic journey. So how did you move from Institute 1 to Institute 2? And what were your specific observations, in particularly with reference to academic or research environment?
So I did my undergrad in biochemistry from Delhi University. And I think that's where I first got exposed to a unique field of science, which was biochemistry, unlike having taken the regular courses like biology, chemistry, and physics. This was one course that amalgamated two different fields of sciences, biology and chemistry, and integrated. And that undergraduate training was really, very important for me. And from there, I headed off into doing a master's in biotechnology, biochemistry also. And this I did from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. One thing which my transition to AIMS helped me was that we had MSc by research, unlike all the places at that time point, which were just doing courses. AIMS offered MSc by research, and I feel this was one big defining point in my career, because I was able to conduct a 2-year research program and earn my first author paper from my master's internship.
Congratulations.
And yeah, no, so this was very a stunning journey for me, because I saw my friends who were just taking regular classes and perhaps getting more basics through books. I was solving a problem, which was my master's thesis, and looking at esophageal cancer specimens, dissecting them, doing stainings, and trying to understand what was the angiogenic factor that led to the progression of the disease. And that was asking a question and trying to ask, how do I solve a question? This was very central to me choosing to then go for a PhD and wanting to do a more complex problem. Then this point was very clear that I wanted to do a PhD, and I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to, and this was in 1999, 2000, when I felt the opportunities for a PhD in India were not really the way I wanted it, and I wanted to do it abroad. So I was applying for PhD positions across in Europe and in the US. The US, I couldn't go because of the 9/11 that happened, but then I could actually go to Max Planck in the Institute of Biophysical Chemistry, which is at Göttingen. And I did it with Professor Herbert Jägle, and Herbert Jägle was one of the pioneers in the field of Drosophila development. And he's the one who had cloned Kruppel gene, that was one of those early segment polarity genes that was identified, and I got a PhD position with him. Again, you can see that it shaped up my being in a lab, which was defining developmental biology at that right moment. And I feel this is being in the right place at the right time, when you learn the skills that are shaping up a field. And I was getting absorbed into development from cancer biology, where I was in my master's, where I was understanding how decisions went awry. Now I was in a lab where I was understanding how decisions are being made correctly for the animal to develop. So this was just the opposite spectrum, which I learned in my PhD. And that's when I decided I want to take a career in research and I want to be in academia. So I wanted a good postdoc, and I was very clear I wanted stem cells, because development is nothing without stem cells. And because that's where development starts, and I wanted to progress into the field of stem cell biology. And I did my postdoc. I applied for postdoc in many places. I wanted to, I didn't want to move from flies because I was just getting my access done in flies and I was learning flies really well. So I went to Utpal Banerjee's lab at UCLA to understand hematopoiesis. And that was another. So moving from Europe, where science was still a dreamy space to be in, you had ideas, you were doing hypothesis-driven research. And one thing was, it was fun because Europe shielded you from the business part of science. And when I went to UCLA, I joined there as a postdoc. That's when the business part of science became very clear to me, which meant that science needs funding and funding needs results. And
Yeah,
so I did my postdoc with him.
it's a wonderful journey that from being a student learner, you became a researcher, you understand how science means to the people, to the society, and also you learn how to make business out of science. Fantastic. Congratulations. Now, one important thing our viewers would love to know, when you are migrating, like from AIMS to the Max Planck, how did you prepare yourself? What was it? You said that you wrote to many professors. Where you thought success could come to you, or how did you get success in securing a seat in a Max Planck Institute? So what were the challenges? How did you prepare for those challenges? And how you feel the future aspirant should prepare themselves when they are applying for such positions?
Yeah, I think my personal experience, I would say, is that when I was in my master's, I think my understanding of research by doing a project helped me define where I want to go and where I see myself doing a PhD. So there was a lot of clarity in my mind in that process itself I developed that I want to do developmental biology. If I see cancer going awry, how do these decisions actually get made in the first place? So that streamlined a lot of chaos because what people now do is apply randomly and just without thinking they apply random places and then they end up in those labs and not knowing what to do. So that's the first thing where I defined where I wanted to be, and then choosing the right lab, because now if you have defined the problem where you want to be working on for your PhD, then you choose those labs, then you have an understanding of where those labs are and apply. Once you apply, I guess these days now, even then, you have an interview, you have a discussion with the PI, and what they want to now look for, because now there are so many applicants. Back then also there were, but now there are just enormous number of applicants. They want to see, I think the challenge is for them to be convinced by your understanding and that you have a right fit. This can only happen when you are involved. You cannot be distant from the project just because I want to do a PhD, I will go. The involvement in knowing what the lab is doing and involvement in scientific context is very, very essential. They want to see how committed you are in this process. And that's not trivial. That is very, very important. And I think that is where I would
I think
say is,
this is a wonderful suggestion, that being passionate for the innovation and being
yes,
totally involved in the game. These are the
yes,
key that takes you forward, because people would like to know that you are just casual or you are serious. And,
yes,
and that feeling is expressed through your writing, and also, as she said, mostly when they are interacting with you personally. So you need to bring out your best. You need to
yes,
understand various dynamics, and in
yes.
case you do not understand something, please admit it openly rather than making an
Yes,
excuse that
absolutely. Absolutely, rather than trying to cover it up, and
yeah,
because we often do that, we try to play defensive. We don't know that's accepted, and probably that's more. They acknowledge that you. It is very important to acknowledge that.
yeah. So Dr.
Very well said.
Tina, you have been in different part of the world. Did you face any issues, be it logistic, be it cultural or otherwise, and how did you overcome those?
Honestly, I dealt with it. It's not in the institute. Sorry, it was never in the institutes that I faced because I was always in these very international spaces. Max Planck was very, very international. We had people from all sorts of places, and I never faced anything, any discrimination or any sort of thing in my workspace. And when I was at UCLA, I was working with an Indian boss. Utpal Banerjee is a very senior professor, distinguished professor himself, and I never faced anything in the workspace. But when you're living in a city which is not your own, because I'm talking about back in 2002 when I was doing a PhD in Max Planck, Germany was new to foreigners. So yes, there was some bit of not finding an accommodation or anything, but just when you're on the streets, you will feel that you're not the same, and but it but I don't know. It wasn't anything that I will say ghastly, horrible that I had to leave. Nothing like that.
Any
But you feel
any suggestion you would like to give them for how should they take care that their visa application is sound?
visa applications these days, visa applications are given very rather swiftly. Here you don't have to go to the consulate yourself. The VFS takes care of everything as long as your documents, your
Yeah, so
application,
so that
and
is what I was asking. What kind of documentation they must prepare so that application is accepted?
so main is that the university or the place or the lab where they're going to has to be able to give them the agreement or a contract that they are going for the PhD or a postdoc, whatever they are going for. That's key. And once that is given, then there is no once that without that
Okay,
documentation,
you can't
I guess.
apply. Great. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Dr. Tina, maybe our viewers would like to know about your research journey. So, what have been your major outcome of the research, and what are your future goals?
So now I'm in India. So the past 10 years I'm in India and at INSTEM, and I think my major contribution to research from our lab in India has been to discover. I will really say the word discover because it is a discovery that that the sense of smell, we often use sense of smell to engage in our environment to know that this is a favorable or an unfavorable environment. And when you smell a horrible smelling object, you run away, you don't go closer to that. What we have been able to discover in our lab in India is that animals use smell as a way to modulate the immune system. What we find is that when animals have actually perceived the odors coming from a pathogenic meaning infectious agent, the animal primes its immune system and is able to mount a very effective immune response. So if you smell your pathogen in a very intriguing crosstalk between the brain and the blood system gets informed, and the blood system makes a much more competent repertoire of stem cells that if the infection happens, they are very rapid in responding. So this has been our journey in the last 7-8 years with a lot of people and a lot of work that we have made into. And now what we are doing is that we are expanding this this whole blood-brain crosstalk and how sensory perception is crosstalking with the immune system. And we're expanding this crosstalk and seeing if this is just true in flies or is it also true for other systems. Right now we're heading into vector-borne diseases because we know mosquitoes bite humans and mosquitoes are drawn to humans through their odors. We secrete a lot of volatiles or odors that allow the mosquito to be drawn to us. And now what we're asking is that, and it turns out that the mosquitoes that bite humans are the ones that also carry dengue, Zika, chikungunya, malaria. It's not the mosquitoes that are biting animals, they don't really carry these diseases. They're not vectors. So we're trying to ask if the volatiles that we humans make have been able to compromise the immunity of the mosquitoes, which makes them more susceptible to carrying these diseases. So that's what we are heading at in the next 4-5 years. Hopefully, we'll be able to say where we are. I mean,
Our
what
good
led
wish,
to.
yeah, our good wishes for that. And would you like to give some suggestion, specific suggestion to the future aspirant of fellows who are looking for a doctoral or postdoctoral position outside India?
Yeah, I think many times my having running a lab for the last 10 years and being a postdoc or a graduate student myself in the US and in the Europe, my main suggestion for today's students or today's aspirants will be focused and be clear of what you want. PhD and postdoc is not an end goal destination. It is not a job. It is what takes your career on track. These are career making decisions, and it requires a certain skill set, certain aptitude, certain level of passion, and certain level of commitment in this career. Because after your PhD or a postdoc, you have to decide whether you want to be in academia or whether you want to be in a company doing research in a company, or you want to run your own lab. Because after these 8-9 years of training, you're going to be a very skilled worker, so not many opportunities will exist. You're lost. So you need to make an informed decision and be committed in this process. It's a long drawn career and a lot of hard work. And so that passion, if you don't have it, you will lose it in between. So make the right choice in the beginning. Don't see as a PhD opportunity to go abroad. You will do your PhD in 4 years, then what? So then you will do a postdoc 4 years, then what? Is you really like solving problems? Is problem solving your mission of life? And I
I
think
think these are very, very important questions you need to ask yourself. What you
yes,
expect from a degree or an assignment or a contract, and then you have to plan your life journey forward. So it was
yes,
interesting, Dr. Tina, talking to you. Now, since you told that you come from Deshbandhu College, which is a multidisciplinary college, and
mhm.
would you like to give a special message to the students of Deshbandhu College?
Oh, Deshbandhu. I mean, when I was in the college, it was one of the most notorious colleges. I don't know if it is still the same. I loved my time in Deshbandhu, and with all the Deshbandhu fest and evening colleges that evening college used to, the students from the evening colleges and morning colleges were very distinct. I remember those days. That's where I come from. Even my husband is a Deshbandhuite.
Oh, great,
We
lovely.
love, yeah, both of us, and I don't know. I mean, it was a fabulous place to be in. Just the energy in the campus was always driving us. Good energy, bad energy, I don't know, but the energy that runs in the place is amazing. And I think that's where I started my journey. The Department of Biochemistry is where I got my interest, and that's the energy was so good that I still carry the energy now. So it has been a
Thank you,
long
Dr.
drawn
Tina.
journey.
It was nice interacting with you, and your message is very clear. Be focused, be innovative,
Yes,
be involved, and look
yes,
forward for your journey, plan it, and take it forward. Thank you very
yes,
much
yes.
for our conversation today. Nice talking to you.